authority that we're live, and that's my cue to say hello, everyone, and good evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on what part of the country or world you hail from. I'm your host, Steve Harkins, and thanks so much for joining us this evening. We know you have a myriad of entertainment options, and that's why we strive to raise the bar and provide you artist insights that you don't necessarily get anywhere else. And we're distinctly honored to host tonight's guest, one of America's greatest talents to come along in many a generation. And with that, Sam, if you would, please roll the digital. So she is a true Renaissance woman. She's a Tony Award winner, an actress in film and television, a Broadway star, a songwriter, and possesses one of the greatest voices today. Consider her role as Maureen in the musical Rent. Then, to raise the bar further, she set the tone while winning a Tony Award for her role as Elphaba in one of the all-time great musicals, of course, Wicked. Then she lent her voice as Elsa in the Oscar-winning animated film Frozen, one of the highest-grossing animated films, only to be surpassed, of course, by Frozen 2, the highest-grossing animated film to date. Her vocal on the song Let It Go helped earn both an Oscar and a Grammy award, and is considered one of the all-time great pop songs in modern times. She was also recently seen in the smash hit Cinderella, which features the song Dream Girl, which she both sang on and, of course, wrote it. And she's been featured on multiple cast recordings, is releasing her 7th studio album. Amongst those albums, 2 holiday releases, including the #1 Billboard holiday album, Holiday Wishes. Did I mention she performed the national anthem brilliantly at the Super Bowl in Arizona? So much so, I have it on good authority. It inspired Tom Brady to help the Patriots win the Lombardi Trophy. He was named the game's MVP, and he signed a 2-year contract extension days later. You would think he would thank tonight's guest. I'm not sure if that happened. Who knows? Maybe he did. Numerous television appearances, including Glee, several film appearances to her name, including an upcoming role in Adam Sandler's new film. Her voice can be heard on video games, and she recently co-wrote the children's book Loud Mouse with her sister, Kara. Named a Disney legend, it's their Hall of Fame. I hope stock came with that, and earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Or as more importantly, she continues to give back as a philanthropist. She does tremendous work, and maybe we'll talk about that as well. But the reason we are gathered here today is the wait is over. Idina Menzel fans. That's right. Aside from her brilliant holiday album, Christmas, A Season of Love, released in 2019, it's been 7 long years since her last studio album with all new material. And let me tell you, it was well worth the wait. The vocal performances and material is positively electrifying. The messages speak to affairs of the heart, strength, passion, and empowerment. 9 new songs in all, top to bottom. Each one delivers one of her best musical works to date. Fans will love this album, entitled Drama Queen. I think I got that right. Dina will tell me if I didn't. This brilliant body of work is officially released on Friday, August 18th, but TalkShopLive fans can order their copies right now, right here. You would think just hearing Idina's magnificent voice would be enough. However, as her way of saying thank you, fans, those who purchase Drama Queen on both vinyl and CD through TalkShopLive will receive their copies personally autographed by no other than the Queen herself, Idina Menzel. How about that? Just hit the buy button. The rest is quick, easy, and pain-free. There's no better way to show Idina how much we appreciate her than by supporting her latest musical work entitled Drama Queen. And with that, I wish I had a drum roll, so we'll just have to imagine it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the great talents of our time, the one and only Idina Menzel.
Hi.
How are you?
You're going to give me that amazing introduction. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, that was the edited version.
Everywhere I go, to every restaurant I walk into, every house I go to.
Well, that's for TMZ. We don't do that here, but yeah, but listen, thanks so much for being here. It's such a thrill to have you here.
It's a thrill to be here with you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody out there. Is there anyone out there?
And, you know, my greatest fear tonight, as with many a host or interviewer, was to make certain I pronounced your name correctly in public.
I know. A lot of people feel a lot of pressure about that these days. Tell me, they like, it keeps them up at night that they actually have to say my name correctly.
Yeah, I'm on a roll, so I'm not going to blow it from this point forward.
You're fine. Don't worry.
Oh, good. So fans, if you have a question or comment for Idina tonight, submit it in the chat function and we'll get to as many as possible. So, Dina, again, sincere thanks and congratulations on delivering a great new music project, Drama Queen. And this is a departure somewhat for you musically, yet it fits like a glove. It was like you were born to record this album. And if we were to go back in time, in my estimation, this would be a dance album smash in the 70s or the 80s. Yet it still sounds vital today, which is pretty amazing to think about that. And I just wanted to know, as a starting point of discussion, what was this your idea directionally prior to writing and recording? Did you know that you wanted to make this kind of up-tempo dance record?
Yeah, this time I did. This time I said to myself, I really just didn't want to make an album that people maybe expected from me. I didn't want to like follow all these rules or formulas. And I knew I just wanted to make music that grooved, honestly, and that would get people up in a concert and have them dancing and moving. And yet I knew that I didn't want to compromise, how big I could sing and how dynamically I could sing. So I started to think about what kind of music that would be. And I feel like the greatest disco and dance music has been this wonderful, bed foundation for big melodic voices. And also, through the years, some of my most wonderful gigs have been the ones at 1 a.m. with my LGBTQ plus friends and family,
Yeah.
sometimes in London at 1 a.m, thousands of people up against the stage. We're grooving, we're dancing, we're crying, we're reminiscing, we're singing. And I just thought, I just want music where I can come back to venues like that and share this kind of music with them.
Yeah, and you delivered. And what's interesting is you take different vocal approaches with each song. It's, some vocalists sometimes becomes a little bit of a vocal exercise, but you serve each song appropriately well.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if that's probably just working with great producers, and I approach each song differently. And I don't know, sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants. Sometimes I think about it more technically. Sometimes the words and who I'm singing to really matter. Sometimes it's the groove that kind of sets me off. It all depends.
So I'm curious. These tracks are produced by numerous individuals, and it was recorded at various studios in Los Angeles. Noticed also a few in Germany and the UK as well. So over what period of time did Drama Queen cover from start to finish, I guess, from the idea to the songwriting to the actual recording? Do you have a sense on how long the process took?
I think it was in the middle of quarantining, honestly, where
Yeah.
first I didn't feel very creative at all. I don't know if you found that when you talk to other creative people, a lot of my friends felt non-creative in
Yeah.
the first couple months. It was almost a way of like, just if you could relax and if you had a little money to fall back on, you weren't worried about, paying your bills necessarily, that month. There was somewhat of a relief, if I could say. I mean, obviously everyone's health and all that. But as far as my selfish, just wanting a minute to sort of sit down and just be with my family and not feel like the whole world was happening without me. If I wanted to take a break, there was something about that
Right.
felt, like I could breathe a little bit. And actually, I don't like the way that sounds because people were having a hard time breathing. So that doesn't come
No,
out right. But you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I felt
Yeah.
like just having the time with my family was a blessing. And then my creative juices started flowing again. And I was like, if I make another album, I just want to make what I want to make. I don't want to ask the record labels or ask the people in my life what they think I should do. I don't want to have to do something that's, becoming of a Disney princess. I don't want to necessarily make a Broadway album. I want to make music that, excites me. And so I started thinking along those lines back then.
Yeah, and I think it right now we need that kind of an album, right? I mean, still we're in contentious times, right? I mean, and socially, politically, there's a lot of things going on in the world. So the one common thread it seems like we have, and I keep coming back to it, is music. Seems to bring everybody together.
It does, yeah. I played a lot of these Pride events the last 3 weeks. I've been here at WeHo, West Hollywood, DC was amazing, St. Louis, St. Petersburg, Chicago, and then we just came back from London, which was incredible,
Amazing.
Trafalgar Square. And there's something, sort of being on stage, in this climate of where everyone's out there and they're beautiful and they're joyous and they're celebrating and triumphant, and yet, experiencing, like you said, these contentious, tumultuous times. I didn't want to seem tone deaf up there, and yet I also didn't want to bring everyone down. So I had to sort of find this way to strike a balance between, really speaking to the time that we're living in and helping everyone to express through the music their frustration and anger, if you will, and still be able to rise above that just for that day, because everyone, all the friends I have in the queer community, the way they inspire me the most is that they meet all this adversity with such hope and optimism and love,
Right.
So that was an interesting thing that I wanted to, a responsibility I felt when I got up on stage.
Yeah, and your answer regarding kind of sort through kind of this downtime, if you will, during the pandemic, most artists, found that entertainers, creative types, as you say, first had to sit back for a minute and go, what am I going to do with all this free time? I mean, many of them live on the road or they're constantly doing something, performing in some way, and never had that much free time. I mean, of course, at first, as human beings, we're all concerned. We haven't gone through a pandemic in our lifetime. What does this mean for us, right?
Well, I also had my son. So, I was stuck in, school, virtual school, leaning over his shoulder constantly. Did you finish that homework? Him screaming at me, trying to keep the peace in the house. There was a lot of that, trying to keep him, so much, I think, underlying fear and depression that our kids were experiencing too, how their lives were changing. So just there was so much to be dealing with. I just, I was just focusing on that.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. But it seems like almost everyone to a T at some point felt like, okay, now I've kind of settled in. I'm adapting to this. And then this massive spurt of creativity came out. And, so much new music has been, we've been a beneficiary. If there were some positives from it, some great music.
Also, not to cut you off, sorry, but
No.
I think the songwriting process also was interesting, because at first everyone with the Zooms and there's this delay and it was hard to really feel like, can we actually write music and not be in the same room as one another? But then one of the songs on the album, Paradise, that I wrote with Nile Rodgers, it actually is a voice memo of me singing, and then sent it to him. And then he would put chords behind it. And Jonas Myron and I, who worked on it, we were in LA here. And then Niall produced the whole track, and he put it with my little kind of mousy sounding vocal from the voice memo, and just did the whole track with that. It kind of sounded cool, and we thought for a minute to keep it like that. But then I went back in and I sang it, so it was a better quality. But that's how it was done. You just write, I'd write ideas in my journal or titles or sing little melodies and then send them to someone else, and then they'd send it back with their ideas. It was actually, everybody's really resourceful.
That's great. And that's a good segue, I think, for us to listen and watch a portion of the first single from Drama Queen. Here's Move. And Sam, if you would, let's roll the digital again.
Spotlight on you and shadows on me. They roll the carpet out. You walk on it, I'm sick of this scene. Ready to burn it down. So tonight, it's my turn. Yeah, I'm taking center stage. 'Cause tonight, I'll come first. If you're standing in my way, you better move for me. I'm so high, make you move for me. I'm not falling down.
It's just undeniably infectious. Before the chorus hits, if your body's not moving, it's official. You have no pulse. I'm sorry. And with that first chorus kicks in too, there's something mystical, magical with your vocal. Just something that kind of struck me. Move sounds nostalgic, just like I said earlier, as well as with the album, yet contemporary. In other words, it's timeless, and you have to love the results of this one, Idina.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, I got like low. All of a sudden, I realized I wasn't charging for some reason.
Low frequency or
frantic during the song. Yeah. Well, this says everything about the sort of the ethos of the whole album. Obviously, like I said, I wanted people to get up and dance. That's a literal meaning, but there's also the kind of double entendre of just the lyric, what the lyric speaks to. It says, just sort of, don't put me in your shadow, move out of my effing way. That's really what the song's about.
Yep. Now, were you responsible for the majority of the lyrics on the album?
I co-wrote on the whole album.
Yeah,
I co-write everything. So I collaborate. I find the writing process to be very lonely, songwriting. I used to do it a lot more by myself. And now I put myself in the room with amazing collaborators that I think are much better than me. I like to kind of just like give them the kitchen sink, and put all my lyrics and titles and melodies, and then have someone better than me say, you know what, that's the chorus right there. That's the verse. But I'm also a real open book in the studio, and I will just say, this is what's on my mind. We need to write this song. This happened to me once, or this is how I'm feeling, or this is an argument I had with this person, or, and they always say like, thank you, Idina, for being so vulnerable. It really helps us. Help you to write what you want to write about.
I think you're selling yourself a little bit short, but I understand when you surround yourself with, other brilliant creative types, the bar gets raised, right? And I think it also produces the best results out of the creatives. And that certainly is the case here. Now there's Beast. This great track is dropping as a single, I have it on Good Authority Fans, in 2 days, this Friday. And let me cite some of the lyrics. I could be wild. I could be sexy too. Are we on trial? Because I'm not judging you. I ought to thank you for setting me loose. Never liked me wild, did you? I've woken up the beast in me. I'm stronger than you'll ever be. I'm a beast, baby. So
I love when you say it.
Yeah. Well, I loved it when you say it. So it's mutual. It's reciprocal. Is this autobiographical, Idina, or is this? Yeah, I would kind of figured it was. And one request, if I may, the world needs a Beast T-shirt after this song. Just saying.
There is one. There was one we did during Pride, and there were a lot of tight white tank tops walking around with Beast on their chests. And also, it was a company that does jock straps, I believe. So I was hoping we had a couple Beast jock straps, but I don't know if that actually.
All right, well, put me down for one of each.
You have to look on eBay for that. You still have eBay? Yeah. Okay.
That's great. Well, we need it on the Idina Menzel shop coming soon.
Yeah.
So tell me about the background on the song in terms of the inspiration.
This one came from the groove. Sir Nolan, producer, songwriter extraordinaire. He was just vibing. And sometimes we listen to other music, that we're listening to, the other songs I've written for the album to get a vibe. Sometimes we listen to other, songs that we all love. This one we didn't. This one was just clean slate. I told him the kind of music I wanted to do, and then we just kind of fell into the sounds and the groove that he came up with, which is one of my favorite on the whole album. And it's also one of my favorite songs to perform live now. So, yeah, I don't know. It's how I feel. I think it's how a lot of us feel, that we have all of this kind of pent out, not even anger, like passion and ferocity. And I would say it as a woman, but I think it's anybody, and when someone is sort of hasn't seen us the way we want to be seen and we finally let it rip, it's sort of what the song is about for me.
Yeah, it spoke to me as well. As I said, put me down for at least one T-shirt and a jock strap.
I'm also, I don't know if you know this, but I'm over the age of 30, even 40 perhaps. And
that's breaking news. I was not aware.
So there's something about still trying to be in touch with my own sexuality. We don't have all little Elsas on this, right? We have like,
I think it's I think we're
okay.
safe.
Okay.
And by the way, there are no rules, and so feel
Okay.
free.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's just about, feeling sensual and sexual and beautiful and sexy still. I think a lot of the album sort of found its way. A lot of the messaging kind of came from that. Even just subconsciously, I think that's something that I'm dealing with. And that's why I wanted the music to feel sexy. And like, I've never even really been a big dancer. People they say, oh, you're a triple threat because you're, Broadway singer, actress, but I'm not. If I ever dance at something you've seen me in, it's required a lot of tutoring. But I love to dance. I just don't think I'm the greatest dancer. So this has sort of just been, this whole album is liberating for everybody. Yeah.
I think you need to do like a fan version, video of them dancing, throughout.
There's a lot of them that's starting to catch on, and everybody. I did some silly thing at home, and there's a lot of
right?
A lot of people sending me back their own version of their beasts.
That's so great. Well, it definitely resonated with me. Now, Dramatic, I absolutely love this song as well as the second single from Drama Queen. Musically makes me feel warm inside. I love the melody line, the vocals it fits the song like a glove. Common thread throughout this album, underscored here, affairs of the heart, encouraging passion, strength, and empowerment. Dramatic speaks to, embracing multiple facets of who we are. And again, I like to cite some of the lyrics because there's some terrific lyrics on this album.
I love when it comes out of from your lips. That takes on new meaning for me.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's see. I'll make sure not to muff this one up either, but how can it be emotions change faster than mercurial rain? You get what you're needing. You don't see me bleeding. The only best of me remains. The whole lyric for this song, I think, is exceptionally strong. And it's interesting because the music kind of took me to a different place, but the lyrics spoke to me in a different direction. And yet at the same token, they fit perfectly.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah, this was a fun writing session. I always wanted to work with Jake Shears from Scissor Sisters. And so we had our peoples hook us up, and we were both in London at the same time. And we went to the studio in London, and also Jim Elliott, who's this amazing producer, met us. So the three of us were going to write together, but we only had this one day that we were all there, and we wrote Dramatic, and we fell in love with each other, and we had some lyrics still to finish, and we were trying to put a really good vocal down, but we were running out of time. And Jim said, I'm so sorry. I got to get back to Wales. I got to get back to my girls and my wife. And Jake just said, we'll come back with you to Wales. Just invited us over. But Jim had to take the train or something. And so Jake and I rented a car, and I'd never been to Wales. And it was just really spontaneous. So Jake and I finished the lyrics in the car. And then we wrote another song that's on the album called Funny Kind of Lonely. But and most of the vocals that you hear are just from that session that day. They're just me having the mic in my hand like this, which is rare. I usually go in there with the headphones and, try to catch a vibe. But sometimes it's better when I don't think too much. I think people have taught me that. And honestly, the whole album is called Drama Queen because I want to, sort of reclaim the word, give it a positive spin. I think that those of us who might be called drama queens once in a while, that's what makes us really freaking exciting and cool. It's like, what's wrong with having really bold feelings and being passionate and fiery and really vulnerable and sensitive, So
I think that's what's great about this album. I think, wear it like a badge of honor.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And with that, hey, let's hear from some of the fans, if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Marilyn says, hey, loved your show with Josh Groban in Los Angeles. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Carl says, that's all I want to hear is Drama Queen.
Oh, good.
There we go.
I'll play it for you then.
Absolutely. Jamie says, you'll always be gorgeous, Idina.
Oh, that she's citing an old song of mine that only really hardcore fans know.
Yeah, I think there's a few of them here for sure, based on what I'm seeing here. Rin says Adina says she can't dance yet she's able to moonwalk, which is a very difficult dance move. I can attest to that.
True. I rediscovered it. I was messing around. I think I learned it in bar mitzvahs back in the day when they used to give us one glove and they'd have like a Michael Jackson impersonator guy. And
Yeah.
I was doing choreography for my gigs recently, and I was messing around. Then Richie, he he said, "Oh my God, we're putting that in," and he actually choreographed the dancers unzipping my boots into the choreography so that I could get out, and I wore rainbow socks underneath that did not match my gorgeous, sexy jumpsuit, but just so I had the rainbow socks, and then I could moonwalk on any surface, because if you have huge high platform heels, you can't moonwalk. Maybe Michael Jackson could, but I can't.
I love that. Samantha wants to know, what is, if you have one, your favorite song on this album?
Oh, I know it annoys everyone to say, like, I can't pick a favorite. There's
It's
favorites
okay.
are different things.
They're all
Like I
like
said,
your children, almost like your son, but not quite.
it's not quite.
Not quite.
I do love Beast, I have to say. I love when that groove comes in, especially, certain songs become your favorites to perform live. Certain ones are just kind of when you're in the studio and you're writing them, what they mean. Certain ones are about what they're actually, the story that they're telling. So different strokes for different folks, different strokes. But
Right.
yeah, I love Beast. I love Paradise because I loved working with Nile Rodgers, the godfather of disco.
Yeah.
I love so many. There's a couple on there that people, haven't been released yet that I hope people will like. There's a song called Make Me Hate Me. And I don't know. I can't pick them.
That's okay. I think they're all exceptional, but there were definitely a few that just stuck out at the highest level for me. Joe wants to know, who else would you still like to collaborate with that you haven't?
Well, a lot of, if there's any really hardcore fans, they know from way back when, because I had as a lyric in an early song. I've always wanted to sing a duet with Bono, and it hasn't come to fruition. But the closest I've got, actually, when I was at the Oscars, name dropping, Let It Go was nominated the same time that U2 had a song. And so we kind of passed in, we're like ships passing in the night. We had rehearsals and sound checks and stuff. And so I got to meet him. And then he's such a mensch. He wrote this card that I have totally framed here. So I should have wrote back, forget the card, give me a song. But
how great. Well, now you've got something documented.
Putting it out there in the world.
Yeah. You got something documented. So I think you need to complete the cycle.
He's aware that I exist.
That's right. Now, keep in mind, he did write that before he found out that he lost. I'm hoping he's over it by now.
I bet he is.
I'm thinking probably. And with that, finally, the wait is over. Idina Menzel fans, aside from a brilliant holiday album, Christmas, A Season of Love, released in 2019, it's been 7 long years since her last studio album with all new material, and it was worth the wait, folks. The vocal performances.
We're done? That's it? Are we almost done? Oh, that went too fast. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to
There you go. Oh, good. It was well worth the wait. The vocal performances and material is positively electrifying. The messages speak to the affairs of the heart, strength, passion, and empowerment. 9 new songs in all, and top to bottom, each one delivers. One of her best musical works to date. Fans will love this album, entitled Drama Queen. This brilliant body of work is officially released on Friday, August 18th, but TalkShopLive fans can order their copies right here, right now. You would think just hearing Idina's magnificent voice would be enough. However, is Idina's way of saying thank you. Fans who purchase Drama Queen on both vinyl and CD through TalkShopLive will receive their copies personally autographed by none other than the queen herself, Idina Menzel. I have it on good authority. She might be suffering from a mild case of an arthritic condition, but we're hopeful that she'll recover from that. There's no better way to show Idina how much we appreciate her than by supporting her latest musical work. And that, of course, is the forthcoming album, Drama Queen. Thanks for your continued support of Idina Menzel. So My Love for Life, yet another great track, proclamation of giving one's heart to another unconditionally. the song delivers top to bottom. The verse and chorus are undeniable. But to me, the mark of a great song includes how strong the bridge is. And the bridge is as strong as the other elements, if not stronger. I mean, it's just from top to bottom, just a terrific track.
Thank you. That's so funny that you just brought that up, because there are two songs that have modulations. Modulations have sort of, they go out of style. They've sort of been out of style. People would say, "Are you going to modulate like a Barry Manilow song?" But back in the 70s, it was all about amazing modulate. Unless it's Beyonce's song where she modulates "Love on Top" like 22 times in one song. But
That's right.
but so I just embraced it because it felt like that was part of the times. And you just named one of those. That's why that bridge is so great, because it does that retro thing. And it's not, even though
great feel.
No disrespect to Barry.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, he's on the line right now. Should we bring him in?
I
think he's dialing in right now as we speak. Oh, wait, but I don't know if we should take Bono's call before Barry's.
We need to. I know.
Yeah, I think Bono comes first. No offense, Barry. So it's a killer song for sure. I have to ask you, Idina, how challenging was it for you to embark on a solo artist career musically? Were you challenged by virtue of some labeling you maybe in the theatrical vein, because you were spreading your wings and come up with some great material? Was that a bit of a challenge? You had so much success theatrically that, to some extent it felt like you might have been labeled as a theatrical performer. And I'm not sure everybody initially, maybe it was more the critics, was open, to you going into these great new directions musically.
Yeah, it's actually been sort of from the beginning. When I was in Rent, that's like this big famous rock musical. But then when I got signed to a record deal, I want to make a pop rock album, then everyone on the music side of things, the music industry was like, she comes from Broadway. And then everyone in the Broadway world thought our Rent cast was like raw and untrained, and so it's sort of always been kind of straddling this line. And things have changed now, I guess. People are more open to just talents and whatever medium you want to play in. But there's definitely a box that I feel like still put in. It's like, just because I'm from the theater, there's something wonderful about being theatrical. Annie Lennox, David Bowie. I mean, they're very dramatic and very theatrical. It's just for some reason, if you know that I'm from the theater, you listen with different ears. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's champagne problems, but I would love people to listen with fresh ears and not.
Great music is great music. I mean, at the end of the day. Yeah. And more power to you for sticking to your guns and putting out what you felt your personal convictions were musically. I mean, to me, they were great albums, and you take each project on its own. But then the critics don't listen to me. Sometimes I feel like the critics that are most harshest are the ones that had to pay to get into, the theater or a concert,
Yes, I don't know. I mean, and it's when I was younger, I was so fierce and I had such a strong sense of, what I wanted to do. And I was just such a dreamer, and now the older I am, the more successful you get. It's almost like there's more scrutiny, there are more eyes, there's further to fall, and it's so frustrating. If I just could channel that young girl who was singing at bar mitzvahs and weddings and no one was listening to her, and I just was like, I'm gonna make it, people are gonna hear my voice one day. Now if someone says there's something on social media, I'm like demoralized for a month.
Yeah, it's almost not worth looking.
It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, but look at it. Here you still are. And again, brilliant album, which leads to Paradise. You touched on this, featuring Niles Rodgers, who, by the way, is a terrific soul. Not to mention, you said the godfather of kind of disco and funk. I mean, this guy knows a groove. I mean, if anybody does, he's the go-to for sure. And this is a great feel-good track, co-written by Jonas Myrin. And noted singer-songwriters, work with many great vocalists, including, of course, Barbara Streisand, but most notably, you both have history in your passive Keep Crossing. There's a killer bass line in there, funky guitar and groove. Tell us about working with Niall.
Well, he's the one I I went to in the beginning with this idea. And forgive me if I told you the story in the last half hour,
No.
but he's the one I went to when I had this idea that I want to make a dance album. And I, worked with him a couple times before, and I called him and said, "What do you think?" I said, I think it's a very organic transition for someone like me. I mean, all the great singers that I love, Donna Summer, Barbara Streisand, Diana Ross, who he produced and wrote with.
Yeah.
Cher had her dance moment, one of her biggest moments in dance music.
David Bowie, Let's
Yep.
Dance was definitely out of left field for him, and his biggest record ever.
Yeah, exactly. But I just, I said, do you think I can, people will give me a shot. It'll be believable. And he said, yeah, it's all about like the big voice with the groove. And he said, he, kind of gave me his blessing, and it was so much fun. When we finally were able to get in the studio, actually in person with one another, we had the best time. And he's such a consummate, musician. People knew him through the dance and the funk world and everything. And then when disco sort of faded out, he produced Madonna's album. Yep. And he did so much. But what's really beautiful now is that this whole new generation is discovering him, and they all want to write with him and have him play on their albums. And so yep. I'm just so happy for him.
Absolutely. Well deserved. Yeah. Iconic for sure. Make Me Hate Me, such a sultry, seductive vocal. Yet again, the message is calling the lover out. Cite some more lyrics. You can make me out to be a sadistic drama queen, but you can't make me hate me. You can talk shit, talk all you please, make a villain out of me, but you can't make me hate me. I mean, wow, it's a powerful lyric.
I love when you read them. I'm bringing you everywhere I go.
I'm available.
Yeah, that's Laura Belts wrote those lyrics with me. She's a Grammy-nominated songwriter. She's incredible. We wrote a song on the Cinderella movie with Camila Cabello together, and she's a buddy of mine. And she just has such a way of getting to the core and writing such specific lyrics in such a universal way. And I love her so much. And that process is just so great. And I don't know what else I can say about it.
Well, I don't know if it's if I should direct this to her or to you, but if this person is real as opposed to fictitious, get me a name and address, because we know people, if you know what I'm saying.
I know. Well, it's just, it's a lot of the album's about that. It's just, don't let people steal your light,
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's reach out again to some more comments.
It's so funny. I thought you were wrapping it up before, but you weren't. So it's just such a.
Why do you want to go?
I'm giving. No, I thought it was over, and then and it wasn't. So
it's not over. No, We're not done yet. Okay. Can't get rid of me yet. And I'm available for reading lyrics too, as I said.
Amazing.
So Jamie wants you to know you've been one of my greatest inspirations since I Stand came out, which is a great, absolutely great project. And you show me how to be brave. That's Jamie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. See, she knows that album.
There you go. Ellie says, Paradise is my favorite song. I learned every word during Pride. Can't wait to hear the official track.
Oh, wait, which song is?
Paradise.
Oh, Paradise? Oh, yay. I'm so glad. Yeah. And it's not released yet. So yeah, you'll hear it soon. Thank you.
Yep. And let's see here. Genesis is saying lyrics on point. Jordan again has asked, this is another similar question as the previous one from a fan. Who's your dream collaboration?
Oh yeah. Well, I already said Bono. I've never worked with Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
Who do I have a crush on? No, I have my husband. I don't want to say that.
You can say it.
Yeah, I know. There's lots of them. Next.
That's okay. Despa6 wants to know if there's any news on an album release party. But you're doing an in-store, aren't you, I think?
Yes, I am. Don't ask me that date right offhand. Oh, August.
It's release date. I'm pretty sure it's release date.
It's August 18th. Yeah, and we are trying to put together a release party, so we'll see what happens with that.
Excellent.
Definitely be in New York.
Dia wants to know any advice for an aspiring high school theater kid.
Yes. Uh, hmm. First of all, have fun. Don't take it all too seriously. Live your life. If you live your life and experience life, that's going to be the stuff that informs you and makes you a better artist.
Yeah.
Um, that's number one. Number two is don't, I like to say, emulate, but don't imitate. Don't try to be anybody else. You can be inspired by the people that you love and listen and absorb all the things they do. But, you will get your moment because you're so embrace your uniqueness.
Absolutely. Great advice. Sandy just wants you to know rainbow socks. She's super excited about that.
Yes.
I think rainbow socks are probably, blowing out of stock on Amazon as we speak.
So funny.
I have a feeling. So let's talk about, let's talk about the album again. And I just want to remind everybody, aside from the Christmas album, which was a magnificent album as Christmas Season of Love, released in 2019, it's been 7 long years since her last studio album with all new material. And again, folks, as you've heard me say this, it was well worth the wait. The vocal performances material are absolutely electrifying. And as you're hearing, there's a common thread here. The messages speak to the affairs of the heart, the need for strength, passion, and empowerment. 9 new songs and all from top to bottom. Each one delivers. And I can confidently say this is one of her best musical works to date. You'll love this album. And again, it's entitled Drama Queen. And this brilliant body of work is officially released on Friday, August the 18th. But TalkShopLive fans can order their copies right here, right now. You would think that just hearing Idina's magnificent voice would be enough, but it's her way of saying thank you to all the fans here who purchased Drama Queen on both vinyl and CD, both formats, through TalkShopLive. You'll receive your copies personally autographed by none other than the Queen herself, Idina Menzel. Just hit the buy button. The rest is quick, easy, and pain-free, and there's no better way to show Idina how much you appreciate her than by supporting her latest musical work, Drama Queen. And thanks for your continued support of Idina Menzel. So Funny Kind of Lonely. This was co-written by Jake Shears and Jim Elliott. We've heard those names before. And as you said earlier, Jake is the co-lead vocalist of the great Scissor Sisters. And this is another instant classic in my book. Terrific lyric yet again. It's a funny kind of lonely. It's a pretty kind of sad. I know that you're the only one who understands. It's a bitter kind of freedom to hold more than enough. It's a funny kind of lonely, giving into love. Now I know you hear this song. I can't help when I hear it, but think Barbara Streisand in that sense, saying, I can't imagine her delivering the song better than you did, Idina. I'm not just saying that. Now, Barbara won't return my calls after this, but no worries, she's not returning my calls anyway. So.
That is quite the compliment. Thank you.
Well, it's true.
I am really proud of that vocal, I have to say. And it is the closest thing to a ballad on the album. It's definitely a balladic, sounds like bladder, balladic melody. And you could, easily be sung with just a piano and a vocal, but it has this really driving, what's the word, like kind of emotive beat underneath. But the melody, they just really knew how to put my voice in the right place. I think that's really one of the challenges about recording in the first place, or anytime, it was just keys. People always think when they hear about like, what key is she singing? What's the high note? What's the low note? Keys for singers are not about what's the highest or the lowest. It's about what is the emotional connection in this particular key. Like what's the timbre of your voice? People always laugh at me because I say with Let It Go, I went back in and I re-sang it a half step higher because I thought I wanted it to sound more innocent, and that half step lower sounded like I had smoked a bunch of cigarettes. Something Elsa at 80. No, but
cut in the back room of a bar.
Yeah. No, but it makes a difference. And keys for me are all about sort of exploring, do I want to have more of an instance, more of a heartbreak, a tear in the voice? Do I want to feel more round and lived in? And it's all different stuff for me. So it's really fun to play with that. And Jake and Jim were really good at putting me in places that I might not have put myself there on my own. And I'll probably be cursing myself when I'm doing that live because it's very rangy. But I really am proud of that vocal. I can't wait for people to hear it.
Absolutely. I think that one's going to stand the test of time. That's a classic.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Royalty, terrific song, powerful message yet again. I'm royalty. I'm royalty. Anything I want to be. The kings and queens of monarchy. We're making our own history. If we walk through the rain, like the world's our runway, we're going to make it through. Again, was this inspired by personal experience, or what was the source of the inspiration in this song?
I'm going to think back. I mean, for me right now, it's become, maybe it's taken on new meaning now that I've played it live,
Yeah.
It's just, I introduce this song and I say, this goes out to all the kings and queens and in-betweens, because there's at Pride, it's the whole field, the whole park, the whole, wherever we are, it's filled with so much royalty.
Right.
Yeah, it's just about living, living your best life. And it feels like one of those runway songs, we all have to like walk that runway, even if it's in our living room.
That's right.
Just and feel yourself. Someone told me this story once that well, not actually a story, a fact, that was on stage and we were teching a show, and teching means when you're rehearsing, but it's more about the lights and the sets and stuff and less about the actors doing their scenes. And you stand around a lot while light people move stuff. And they said, Idina, just give us a minute. We're working on your special. And all the years I've been in the theater, I always knew that there was a spotlight, like a spot operator, but I didn't know that we each had something called a special, which was one particular person, that was one light that was literally there just for you. That's your special. And yeah, and so it always meant so much to me that I felt like everyone should feel that way. There's that one light that's designated just for you, and you need to find it, that pool on the floor that it makes, and stand right in the middle of it. Take it in.
Yeah, powerful message. Yeah, great analogy, I think, as well. Then there's Madison Hotel. This is a great closer for the album Drama Queen. Love the dramatic beginning vocally and musically, and it builds into this great groove. So there's, it segues into it really nicely. I believe this is a hotel rendezvous where memories were made. Hotel no longer standing, but the memories remain vivid. Pray tell, Idina, fact or fiction?
It's fact.
I knew that.
It's really hard for me to hear all these lyrics coming back at me. It's very embarrassing.
Sorry, it's okay. This is full confessional here.
I thought I hit them well in the tracks. Yeah, my husband and I had a hotel we liked to go to. It's not around anymore, and it was definitely when my son was with his dad. And that's the only good thing about divorce, is that your child has to be with the other parent at times, so you can't feel guilty because they have to be there. So you're allowed to go out and have some sexy me time.
Yeah. And the good news is your husband's finding out it's about him.
Exactly.
We're very thankful for that. Great track. Great. Did you know that this was destined to be the closer? Did you know, like, this had to be the last track on the album?
No, I didn't know it until, no, I wasn't sure, but it feels like a dark, like late at night, like the Piano Man in a little way, in a way, just the intro and the outro. And so it feels like we've been through an album together. We've been to the club. We've been through life. The makeup's running down our face. We're drama queens. It's the end of the night. And now somebody's playing at the piano bar, singing our tune. We're having a bourbon, and that's the end of the album. See you later.
Yeah, almost like a last call.
Exactly.
Right. And are you normally tortured as far as sequencing an album?
Yeah. I have other people kind of do it, and then I just listen. And if something have other people told you that? They told
Yeah,
you?
I
Yeah.
have. Yeah, they take it very many artists take it very seriously.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because nobody listens in an order anymore.
Right.
So we're lucky if you listen. Hey, out there, we're lucky if you listen even to the whole album because everyone just buys singles. But yeah, I still hang on to that because I grew up listening to Carole King, Tapestry, and like listening to an album meant to be in a certain order. Joni Mitchell,
Yeah, it's a body of work.
Body of work. It tells a story. There's a connectivity with everything. So even though it's sort of an old, it's what I don't know, it's not the thing right now. I still did that. Yeah, but I have some friends of mine, like my husband. I said, go just put an order together for me, and then I listen in the car. And if something kind of jumps out at me that feels, whoa, that was jarring, then I change it.
Makes sense. It makes sense for sure. Hey, so let's hear a few more comments and questions from the fans before we part company. Gabby says, I had an absolute blast singing in St. Louis. Any chance we'll get a tour for Drama Queen?
Yes, I'm really hoping so. I really am.
This would lend itself tremendously well to, a live format for sure. I'm sure you recognize that with some of your performances recently.
Yeah. And I really enjoy having dancers. I don't know what took me so long. I guess I was really intimidated because like I said to you, I never see myself as a dancer, but having a bunch of gorgeous men dancing around me is just really awesome.
Absolutely.
And the music, and then I'd have more live musicians and it would be great. So yes, I'm really, really thinking about it. It all comes down to the mommy stuff, and when the right time is in the school year and, so that's why I hesitated.
Do you take them when the tour makes sense and you can fit it in? Do you take him on the road?
I used to take him everywhere. He's at that age now where he's sort of entrenched in his life and his schedule. And so I actually feel bad uprooting him, so like summer is good. But I used to take him and I take him on the tour bus and I decorate his little bed, his little, what do we call them? We call them coffins. Yeah. So that's how they feel. But I decorated them with his dinosaurs. He was a big paleontologist when he was 3. And it was so much fun for him. It was such an adventure, And then there were other times where he was really little and I'd hear him crying on the side of the stage and I'd get so distracted. So then I'd bring him out, but I wanted to keep his anonymity. So I'd sort of hold him like this. And I remember singing a song a cappella, just holding him in my arms. So he'd stop crying and I could finish the show. And it's hard. Moms know out there how hard it is to just be balancing everything and feel like you're not being selfish and you're not guilt ridden all the time and taking time for yourself, but also being super present with your kids. And so it's constant. Nobody tells you when you have kids that they all tell you, oh, you're going to love like you've never loved anything in your life before, but they don't tell you that you're never going to live another day with worry-free ever again. So
look, if anyone had it down to a science, there'd be one book for all of us, right?
Exactly.
It's just not possible. Sandy wants to know, when do you think the next Q&A will be, just in case my other questions get missed? Well, let the record show, Sandy, I just read at least one of your questions.
That's a question. And then Sandy's got but then she needs another question. So it's not a question about a question.
Yeah, I'll have to try to see if I can find one before we call it a night for sure. There was the gentleman from the UK that said he loved seeing you there and was happy to be on. So we've got fans from all over the world, not just here in the U.S. tonight.
Yeah, it's
Wales.
That's one of the Oh yeah, I'm going like there's one person from Wales it might have been.
Yeah. He loves the new music, by the way, and excited for Beast on Friday, is what Luke says.
Thank you. I have to say, one of the most magical things is when you start touring the world and you show up somewhere you never thought someplace you never thought anyone would know who you were, and they're there and an audience is there clapping for you or singing your songs. That has
to be amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah.
Hey, I have to ask you this question. You seem incredibly comfortable when you come on stage, and you seem like you have this requirement that's not wearing shoes. As a I started out as a musician, and my greatest fear is always, oh, please don't step in like a puddle of water while you grab the microphone. But I know usually it's you're well taken care of where there's a carpet or something. But where did that come from? Is that just a comfort level thing for you? And how'd that come to be?
Oof. It's really hard for me because I feel longer and more slender when I wear really high heels, but I
Okay.
feel more grounded and like I can move more like myself when I'm barefoot. I feel less self-conscious. So, that's just what it is. But
Makes
this
sense.
music, yeah. So lately it's like, well, that jumpsuit is going to look good barefoot. I got to give myself 4 more inches. So, but then I said, but I can't do that dance move. I'll follow. If you look closely, you'll see I lose my balance quite often.
There you go. Exactly. Um, this is from Jamie. This or actually, this is Lorray. Do you play songs for friends and family before they release? You mentioned your husband was indoctrinated to come up with a sequence, but do you also share it with other friends and family?
Yeah. I've learned my lesson with that a little. So I don't not it's really, really the inner circle. Certain people just never say the right things.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand.
and I don't know. It's not because I can't take criticism. It's just it's got to be the right time
Yeah,
for.
before you unleash on your public, last thing you want to do is to have self doubts, right? Question what you're doing.
Yeah, it's so hard because I always want to be humble and I want to learn and I don't want people to tell me yes, 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 and I want things to be better. But also, I have a hard time trusting my own gut. So I feel like I need to lean into that a little bit more. So yeah, I play it for my husband, who's a really safe person to play stuff for. I play it for my son, who's very, very honest, but also really supportive.
That's
Um,
great.
but mostly I kind of just enjoy it with the people that I wrote the songs with. I mean, they're super successful and they've had tons of hits. And so, if we love it and we're grooving and we're proud of it, then, screw everybody else.
Exactly. Amen to that. So, and with that, that's a great segue again to say, it's been 7 long years. And that's not discounting the great Christmas album, her second Christmas album, A Season of Love, which was released in 2019. But it's been 7 years since we've had all new material from this young lady. And who knew that she was over 30? Did not see that coming. And I have to say, it's well worth the wait. The performances here, from the vocals to the materials, positively electrifying. And as I said earlier, messages speak to the affairs of the heart, strength, passion, empowerment. 9 new songs in all from top to bottom. The album is officially released on Friday, August 18th. It's entitled Drama Queen. But Talk Shop Live fans can order their copies right here, right now. And if you wouldn't think the material alone and hearing this lovely woman's magnificent voice wasn't enough, she graciously agreed to sign copies of Drama Queen both on vinyl and CD. So everyone who orders through Talk Shop Live will receive their copies personally autographed by none other than the Queen herself, Idina Menzel. Just hit the buy button. The rest is quick, easy, and pain-free. And there's no better way to show Idina how much we appreciate her than by supporting her latest musical work. And that, again, is Drama Queen. Thanks so much for your continued support of Idina Menzel and Talk Shop Live. I can't believe this hour has flown by so quickly. But before you call it a night with us, Idina, we'd like to first thank all of your fans for watching tonight.
And
Thank you, everyone.
I wanted to do it. Are you going to do it?
Yes, I'm going to give you the opportunity before we turn the lights off. So, yeah, hold that thought for a second. But I want to say big thanks to Chantel Artur on site tonight, and Hannah Edelman and Kimberly Chrisman. Also to Aaron Privatsky. Another big shout out to Doug Smith, along with Angie Barkin, Joe Barbera, and Jordan Meltzer. They're from, of course, BMG. And to Suzanne Elliott at WMX, that's the Warner Music Group. To Brian, Joe, Tina, Chris, Jenny, Tony, Kate, Gina, and behind the scenes tonight, Sam at Talk Shop Live. And lastly, Sue, Brian Vega, Brad Edwards, Jimmy Cliggett, Jessica Hall, Jim Ogletree, and Rick Stuffelbein at Ingram Music, but most importantly to Idina Menzel for being so generous tonight with your time. I also like to thank your husband and son for allowing us to, to share with us. And also for continuing to share your musical gifts with all of us. I mean, it's a real blessing. We're very fortunate to have you in our lives. So congratulations on your amazing new album, Drama Queen. So Idina, I can't believe we've pretty much hit the bewitching hour. So I just have to ask you, before we part company, is there any last words you'd like to leave with your fans before we call it a night?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, Steve, for such a great interview and for saying so many wonderful things about the album. I really feel like you get it. You get me. You heard you heard it. You heard all the things I wanted you to hear. And I'm just, I hope it resonates with everyone else out there. And, something speaks to you, whether it's a lyric or a melody or the groove, or I just want to thank everybody for embracing and allowing, sort of supporting all of my artistic and creative decisions through many years. Some of you have been with me since the very beginning. And if you're just getting to meet me now through this album, that's really exciting. And so it's nice. I hope to see you live and be able to give you a hug and a kiss and really thank you in person. But once again, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone taking the time. I hope you really love the album. Embrace your inner drama queen. Embrace everything about you that makes you truly unique in the world. And thanks for having me.
Well, on that note, too, I know I'm going to embrace my inner drama queen, and I'm holding out for my Beast T-shirt and my jockstrap. Yep, absolutely. I'm going to be relentless until and I'm able to buy one. And I want to tell everyone before you call it a day, pick up a copy of Idina Menzel's forthcoming album, Drama Queen, here at Talk Shop Live, autographed by the Queen, Idina herself, both on vinyl and CD. And while you're at it, pick one up for your friends and family members. It will enhance their quality of life, and they will thank you for it. And with that, stay safe, enjoy life, and so long, everybody.